ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, animals of all ages. Welcome to another iteration. It's been a while between drinks for the Wednesday Cup, and it's getting a bit spicy out there in the practice session. Holy mackerel at the moment. And we are back, and we're at Mount Panorama. A little bit of a last-minute track change, and we've gone from French paid private land off to the ever-forsaken Nordschleife of Australia. That is Mount Panorama. With you in the commentary box tonight, here viewership land is myself, Zach O'Reilly, and the magnificent Christopher Monroe. How are you tonight, my son?
Oh, thank you, Zachary. Welcome. Welcome everyone at home for tuning in here for Sensational TV for another Wednesday Cup. I've been good. It's, as we said, we've had a slight track change at the very last minute. Just another one of these sim racing things that happen from time to time. But we've popped a crowd favourite in for these boys to get stuck into tonight. And it is the world-famous Mount Panorama, so there shouldn't be any tears, especially from those guys who have done 600 laps practice at the previous track, Mar de Claw, which I think this man on screen here, it was just him, Fabian Fitness, has been whinging in the chat about having 600 laps practice, and now he gets another track lumped on him. So it's tough shit, Fitness. Do your best, son. Yeah,
do your best, and that's exactly what we do here in the commentary box. I'll tell you what, we are just on fire here lately. Over 1,000 subscribers, and ready to rock and roll. We have famous people giving us shout-outs. We've had Rebs come into the box as well, and it's been off its chops for the last couple of months here, but speaking of racing, it is off its chops, and this is what we're copping up tonight here at the Wednesday Cup. It is BMW time once again, and you can see it very, very close there on the timing tower. Judge Buttigieg and Fabian Fitness very, very close. Nathan Husey as well just said he wouldn't be racing tonight. Got home from work a bit tired, and he just belted in a 2:08 to Christopher Monroe just to give someone to think about for the rest of the field.
Yeah, not bad. Maybe just a little, sense of false security to the other boys out there tonight. Says, I'm not racing, then turns up and goes bang, straight off the second row provisionally. So good to see him getting out there anyway. It's hard to turn down a little dose of the Wednesday Cup.
It is indeed, and we love seeing these guys go around at a rate of knots, and they're doing lap times in the old classic V8 supercar time frame, and it's those mid to high 2-minute somethings. These cars are nothing to shy about. They'll get to 290 down the straight here tonight. I'll give you the hot tip, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see what the racing is going to protrude for us tonight, and I'm getting excited for that one too. And I hope you guys out there are in viewership land. Great to have you around. Everyone V8 Supercar, everyone Marshall's in the chat there as well. Good to see those two. Also, anyone else chipping in. Matt Tice, Falzon, Gray Ward. Good to have you here. But I think without further ado, I know what time it is. And it's that time of the night again, ladies and gentlemen, with 1:41 left. Let's start and go racing. We are at Mount Panorama, ladies and gentlemen, and that is one of the best circuits in the world, bar none. I can give you the hot tip right there. Round 5 of this Wednesday Wednesday Cup title, and absolutely on fire in the commentary box. Round 5 out of 7 coming our way. 6.21 kilometres of Mount Panorama, undulations up to 120 metres throughout the circuit, 23 turns coming your way. We all know it like the back of our hand from a visual perspective, but the guys tonight are going to be sweating bullets when it comes to that sort of thing on the racetrack. 10-minute qualifying tonight instead of the 8 minutes as per usual. Race 1, as always, 15 minutes, 16-minute race 2 with a reverse top 10 grid, and then a race 3, a 17-minute up with a top 15 reverse grid too. It's going to be interesting to see that. And the Jake Buttigieg's just powered out of his own time. He did a 2:08.8 on the practice server before we started to go live, and he's doing 2:07.7s at the moment. But that's your track map there. Let's see where they are standing overall for this season. And you can see that one man who basically said before, the happily average racer, Fabian Fitness in P1 with 504 points. Benny Hines, 498, only 7 behind him, if that. And Ezra Simmons also right in the prowl for third place overall. Can't believe I'm calling that guy's name there in third place. Lucas Greatorex in fourth. And then Sarge Illich, not too far away, him for fifth there, Christopher Munro. It's looking pretty spicy for the rest of the top 10.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Ian O'Brien doing his best job out there in the Wednesday Cup so far. In his career, he's up there in sixth position with Jake Buttigieg back from overseas duties here in seventh position. Brody Barber in eighth. Andre Elliott and Paul Buttigieg round out your top 10. And the new look sensational font down the bottom, that is absolutely cracking stuff.
Yes, we've got a bit more coming your way, ladies and gentlemen, as the year goes on. More subscribers means more content for you lot, and the more support we get in the broadcast altogether really gives us something to think about and really eggs us on. So we appreciate everyone's support so far. But that's your top 10 for the Wednesday Cup. You know where they're at now. That's what the names you got to look out for tonight. No Matthias Falzon, unfortunately, a regular here. He's not racing as well. But I'll tell you what, it's just ticked over to the nth degree there for practice. And Nathan Hughes has not gone on top. It is catfished you all. So stuffed that one out of the ranks. But nonetheless, it is going to be tight at the top. And with these results here right now, you can see where the pace is. Maximum ballast on for Jake Buttigieg, 19 kilos for him through the racing tonight, and it's only going to get bigger if he keeps winning. Same with Fabian Fitness, 3 kilos less. Then Nathan Hughes comes through with third place, and Benny Hines there in fourth place. Matt Munro with 8.5 laps under his belt apparently has slotted himself into fifth. So that's a bit of a sign for qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. So you know what to do. It's getting to that time of the night. We're about to go qualifying. So strap yourselves in, get yourself ready, get those condiments all sorted out, and strap in for a ride of your lifetime here for the Wednesday Cup. Oh boy, are we excited for this one. It is Mount Panorama, Screaming Judd V8 BMW E28 M5s. What more could you want on a Wednesday night? 24 cars on track. It's going to be a belter. We will be back in just a hot second for qualifying.
Quality server's up.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you what, it is getting exciting out there, and some of the boys haven't got the memo for the night because it is ready to go qualifying. Get yourselves out there, and that is what Jake Buttigieg has done, slapping the wall already. He's pushing real hard on this outlap, and the rest of those guys are starting to head their way out onto the circuit. All 20 of them out at the moment, and what a better place to be than Mount Panorama. I'll give you the hot tip, Christopher Munro. This is going to be exciting. Is Jake Buttigieg going to be the qualifying and practice king? Who knows?
Yeah, well, he's certainly set the timing boards alight earlier on in this session, so he is the man to beat based on that little bit of information. But he's that behind him, Benny Hines, who is right up there in the championship standings as well. It's been a while since we've been out here on the Wednesday Cup circuit, so learning all the names again. But this man is certainly one of the more consistent blokes out there. So he's got a nice little view of Jake Buttigieg out his front windscreen, as you can see on your screen, viewers. So we're going to get strapped in for a lap of the famous Mount Panorama once Mr. Hines gets across the line for the first time. But I tell you what, they're all pretty much on the same amount of practice here tonight. So it's going to be a real levelling situation here in the Wednesday Cup as we turn Hell Corner of Murray's, should I say, for the first time here across the line and looking for second gear down into turn one. And Ben Hines doing it nicely, taking a little bit of curb there as well. I don't know how these cars like to handle it because there's been just no practice during the week, so it's all a mystery out here as they go across the little hill there and up towards turn two. Griffin's Bend getting on the brakes. Geez, around about the 50-metre mark by the looks of it. These cars have got grip to burn, ladies and gents. Don't you worry about that. Through Griffin's and nice and smooth as well. But you can see in the distance there, Jake Buttigieg doing a pretty good job too. So both of these guys dipping it in there for the cutting. This is a tricky part of the circuit, but these two blokes making it look nice and easy. Turn in when the tree gets there to your left. And no fear either, just right up against the fence there as we dip down through the grate and through Reed Park, across the thing. Oh, geez, it looks like he just slapped the wall there. Maybe a little bit of contact, but he's ploughing on. And that's not going to worry him too much, but he has lost a little bit of time visually to Jake Buttigieg in front, but they come down across the top of the hill now to the descent, down through the dipper. That's real clean, absolutely cracking stuff here from these two guys at the moment. No one's letting go of each other down through the Forest Elbow, and you've got to get a nice exit. That is paramount to getting a good lap time here at Bathurst. So you can see down there, he just is out of suck range, which is probably a nice little strategical advantage to have if you are that way inclined, ladies and gentlemen, to have a little bit of a suck down here at Bathurst. But it's still a bit early for that kind of talk as we come crashing down into the chase. And a little bit of smoke coming out of Jake Buttigieg's car, but Ben Hines has just navigated that absolutely beautifully. Maybe just left a little bit to be desired on the exit there as well, but this is one more turn to go here. This is Murray's turn, and we're going to get an idea about what kind of lap times these guys are going across the line. Jake Buttigieg does a 2:08.9, and Ben Hines just a tenth behind him with a 2:09 flat.
Cracking lap there from both of them. Not even a bee's dick between them, realistically. Only a tenth of a second, and they're flying around here. You can see the strengths and weaknesses there of the two drivers as they fly around the circuit. Who's quicker in what section and who is not, and it's really, really a testament to a lot of these guys to get themselves into a prime position for that P1. It's very, very crucial to get it here in these short races. 15, 16 and 17 minutes is coming away, but it is an absolute belter. No one has set a valid lap here on the server. That's why the timing tower is having an absolute nightmare at the moment, just trying to find out who is doing what. But this man, Matt Munro, slaps a wall there himself. He is about 3.5 Hong Kongs down at the moment and still racing very, very well. 6th place at the moment, and you can see the timing's just starting to get into rhythm now. We've got Sargilix doing a 2:10.1 and then a 2:11.5 there for Hayden Cook. Hayden Wallace has also come in. The two H's have just come in from nowhere. Greater X sets a 2:12.9, and it's getting very, very hairy here. As you can see, McConnell now just entering the chat late into this season and really, really going through. Sam Benz has done a 2:11.8. That's a personal best from him as well. So a really, really good time. Only 4.5 minutes thereabouts left in this one. Lee Crowther's even gone through for a really good time there and crosses the line to put himself in 4th.
Yeah, great stuff there from Crowther. I think this is his first time out in the Wednesday Cup as well. We've seen him in the last couple of rounds in the V8 Supercars Super 2 series. So he's come to test his arm out in the midweek madness that we call the Wednesday Cup. But in the meantime, Dion Clerk's just gone bang, and so is Fabian Fitness, and those two guys occupy the front row as it speaks. Fabian with a 2:08.3, and only 4 tenths behind is Dion Clerk there as well. So certainly these boys are throwing it down here with 3 minutes 40 to go. There might just be 1 or 2 laps in it, depending on who you are. But looking down through the order here, it looks like Ben Hines has gone green in the first sector, but just can't improve, or he does improve by 2 tenths, so he pops himself onto the front row as well. Joining Fabian Fitness as we speak. But who's out there? Fitness has done a couple of purple sectors and goes bang up to the top with 2083.
Look at that. Pennzoil blue and yellow livery. That's where he is. He's at top of the championship, top of the timing tower at the moment, and really hounding this car around. Nothing between Hines and Dion Clerk. Only 500ths of a second, less than a blink of an eye. And Fabian now just half a second off his own personal best here on the timing sectors there. You can see it, but he'll go around for one more crack here with under 3 minutes left in this one. They get about 5 laps here of full balls to the wall action, so they're looking to find those times as they start to tumble. And look at the midsection. It is tight there. You've got McConnell all the way down to Greater X, not even a second and a half between those two, and then the top 4 are separated by half a second. Now Hayden Cook's joined the party and gone bang there. He's put in a 2 of 10.1. So again, not too shabby at all. Then Hayden Wallace has gone through also and just said, thank you, mother, for the rabbits. I'll take a 209.6 to the bank and see if where that puts me. Fabian Fitness is now coming out of the pits as well there, and I can't see who that is. I don't know who that is. I think that's Ryan Sullivan coming out of the pits there too, but ready for one more half dash lap here for 2 minutes and 14 left. It's not a long time to get around here. Are they going to get across the line before that timer ticks 0? Who knows? But really tight at the top. Half a second split in the top 4 after 6.2 kilometres of racetrack. That is absolutely nothing. That's not even half a tenth between every single corner. And that's all it's putting him at the moment, Christopher.
Yeah. Ben Hines gone purple and green in the first 2 sectors. He's half a second up, ladies and gentlemen, here at the moment. Just coming down into the chase. Jake Buttigieg is also up by half a second. This is going to be tight between these two boys. I expect them both to just overtake each other and end up on the front row. Coming down now through the final couple of turns. They're both sitting very nicely in the Delta department. This is insane stuff. Ben Hines getting the luxury of a little bit of a suck down through the last sector as well. Jake Buttigieg goes up to second. Ben Hines, I expect to go in front of him. He doesn't. Oh, that might have been an... No, it's 400ths between them and 300ths between Fitness and Buttigieg. Wowee, it's tight already.
Look at that, how fast, there is Fabian Fitness, that's how far he is. Oh, a little bit of a tail wag there coming into Forestdale where we go, and he's going to make it around just in the nick of time to maybe get that last lap dash to improve his time, because these two, in Jake Buttigieg and Benny Hines, are on an absolute charge here at the moment, coming to rhythm. Finally in the session, not even half a tenth between top 3 now, ladies and gentlemen. That is close as you ever want to be. Is Dion Clerk got anything to answer for? He's got one more lap here with 54 seconds left in this one. Not even 40 seconds left in this one. Oh no, he's put it to the pit, so he's out. Has Benny Hines got anything to say about this in this stage? We'll see when his first timing tower sector mark comes up over the Griffin's Bend. He goes and into that. No, he's 8 tenths down. He's way off. 1.2 seconds, so there's no improvement for him. Is Buttigieg up? No, he's not at the moment. Is Fabian Fitness, though? He's rounding the final turn with 20 seconds to go. This is going to be a last lap dash for him to see if he can just pull out the old member and say, boyos, that is what it is on the table. Come and catch me, because only 300ths of a second is nothing between the rest of them. Paul Buttigieg's done a 2:12 there in the meantime. What about further down the grid? Sarge Illich is up. He's up over 8 tenths of a second on his personal best. That's going to jump him up nearly there as the checkered flag comes out now. If he can keep this one going, Sarge, at this stage, he's going to bump himself all the way up into 5th place. Provisionally here with 0 seconds left on this one. Bananarama did have a good first sector, second sector, absolutely nowhere for him, so he's not going to be on the improve here at the moment. And Hayden Wallace, whereabouts is he? He is nowhere on the timing tower. What is Fitness doing as we cross the up into the top section of this mountain? 209.7 by Sarge goes bang into 7th place. Cracking drive from him, but has Fabian got anything to answer for here to put the real domination on the rest of these guys behind him?
Yeah, I think he's the last man to get around as well, and it looks like everyone behind him is just pulling it into the pits, so as a leisurely stroll is all that is required here from the fit man to just take this pole position, or at least consolidate this pole position. I'm looking on the timing tower now, and everyone is done and dusted. Hayden Cook is not going to improve. He's just teetering on the edge, but he goes across the line for not much. Matt Munro goes up there into 6th position. Very late stages here at 209.6 for him. But Fabian's still circulating, and he is just flexing the old muscles here at the moment. He's down on his personal best. Does not need to flex them at all here at the moment. He will take the pole position here for this evening. Buttigieg will join him on the front row with Hines and Dion Clerk behind him. Wallace and Illich will be the next pair out there in row 3. We've got Cook and O'Brien behind them. Lee Crowther on debut in row 5 with McConnell joining him. Ezra Simons and Bensley. I'm pretty sure we're not going to get any improvements here. We don't. And that is Greater X behind him with Paul Buttigieg. And everyone's left the server, so I don't know what we're looking at here. And the text is too small.
Oh, that's all right. Sorry Fabian Fitness, he's taking the provisional poll. These are your official results here, ladies and gentlemen. Buddy Gegg right behind him, 3/10. In fact, Fabian Fitness did go quicker in the end there on the timing tower, telling us a different story to what we're seeing officially here. But it's a good 2 or 3 tenths between first to third, so still very close with Benny Hines taking that third place. Joining him on the second row is going to be Dion Clerk. Rick Banachek really finding his pace late in this season is the Banana Rama himself in fifth at the moment. Hayden Wallace, 6th place. Matt Munro, 4.5 Hong Kongs now. He's in 7th place. Sarge Illich in 8th. Hayden Cook and Ian O'Brien round out your top 10 with Lee Crowther. Brody Barber in 11th and 12th. McConnell, Buttigieg 13th and 14th with Ezra Simmons, Sam Bensley, Braden Moore, Greater X, Joshy Sadler, Ryan Sullivan taking out the final 20th place there with Nathan Hughes not clocking a lap. Did not enter the chat here for this race. He's probably called it quits for now, I reckon, Christopher Munro. And maybe the truth comes out. He put in some practice, but that's too much for him.
Yeah, or maybe a little quick trip to Hong Kong was calling for himself as well, and wants to just get that out of the way after a long, hard day at work before he jumps into to race 1 and steams through from the back. But that remains to be seen, ladies and gentlemen, because that is race 1 questions that we will have answered in just a moment, because it is time to get these guys out there on the grid for the first time around Bathurst in these wicked little BMW cars. So it's time for everyone to go and charge your drinks up, get your snacks in order. Tell the missus to not ring you while you're... Yeah, it's time to watch the racing. It's Wednesday night, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go and check out race 1, ladies and gents. We will be back in just a moment.
gentlemen. And that is qualifying done, won and run. But now it's time to get racing because it is a 15-minute up and it's coming at you hot, quick, smart and ready to rock and roll because these guys are racing for the first time. Minimal practice around the Mount Panorama circuit and with all those colours on the grid as they start to join us through with about 2 minutes left in this one. It's going to be on like Donkey Kong for tonight here off your front row as we see it. We've got Fabian Fitness and Jake Buttigieg, row 1 and 2. Fabian's just exited the servo. Hopefully he can come back in a second. Benny Hines and Dion Clerk off the second. Rick Banachek, Hayden Wallace in 5th and 6th respectively off the third. Then Matt Munro, Sarge Illich and Hayden Cook with Ian O'Brien, and they're all exiting the server. And that's because that has just happened, ladies and gentlemen. The old real penalty has kicked us all. Wouldn't be an AK Racing Wednesday Cup without this sort of style going on. And you know what that means. We're going to be back in just a hot second for race 1 once again. Under a minute and 45 left in this one, ladies and gentlemen. You know what that means? That means we are getting ready to rumble in the jungle. And you can hear those V8 Judd engines absolutely idling their tits off. And if you've forgotten before what the grid looks like, that's what it looks like. I cannot be rooted calling them out once again. But Fabian Fitness and Buttigieg are the two guys off the front row. So it's all work for them to get through cleanly. But then the mid-pack is going to be very feisty. Very, very quick drivers in there too. And very, very even on the times there, Christopher Munro. With a minute 15 to go left before lights are up and away. We need your predictions in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Give us something out there. And my prediction is going to be one Jake Buttigieg to take this one by the horns and win it.
Yeah, that's a spicy little prediction there, Zachary. Indeed, we've got where's he coming from? Second on the grid. Ben Hines is there. Dion Clerk as well. I'll tell you what, any of these blokes in the top 10 can really win it after what we can only call madness that descends on the grid sometimes out here in the Wednesday Cup. They've had a few weeks off as well, so they're not exactly match fit, so to speak. So we'll have to just see how this first race pans out. 15 minutes around Mount Panorama. What better way to start off the first race back here in the Wednesday Cup in a few weeks?
Oh, absolutely. We love getting racing, ladies and gentlemen. We love getting on board with all these drivers. They rock up every week on a Wednesday and they do it their best, and it's fantastic to see. And now the business end is starting to get up to fruition here with the lights are up, which means we are about to go racing, ladies and gentlemen. as we get down to the grid. We'll get there just before they get onto the front groove, and off they go right away. Fabian Fitness has got an absolute ripstormer over start there over Jake Buttigieg. He's going to have to go around the outside if Jake's going to be fighting this one, but no, Fitness. Line of sight. Oh, Banachek's already been punted in the background there. The poor bastard just lost about 6 or 7 or 8 positions there too. Guilty as charged. I think that was the chef involved with that one too. But that's the only incident so far as we get back to the front of the grid. Has there a battle on at the front? Boy, oh boy, there is. Here goes Fitness versus Buttigieg. 2 by 2 into turn 2 we go. Up the hill we start charting, and Fitness is on the inside. Around the outside goes Jake Buttigieg. He's going to try and stick a fat. Is there enough overlap there? No, there's not. Then we go further back the grid because Brody Barber, the haircut's been absolutely shorn out of one when he got asked for a skin fade, and he's flying down the back of the grid. Matt Monroe's involved in this one. A good slap there from Sargilic in front of him too for the wall. But at this stage, it is Fabian Fitness out in front and leading this race from the get-go. Really good challenge there from Jake Buttigieg. But now these tyres on these cars start to get involved, and they start to get a little bit tight and hot under the collar as they make their first trip around Bathurst and Mount Panorama. Over the top of the hill we go, into Skyline we come now, through into the S's. Who's going to have the most stable run into here? Fabian's the first man to know where the grip is, and he's just got the job done beautifully. Buttigieg really up on the arse end of him too there. You can see just inside how much it means. Flames shooting at the back there of Fabian's car. Looks like he's blowing the engine, but it happened. Poor Buttigieg though is in an absolute fight of his life. He got touched into the back of the S's, I reckon, and he's going down to the radar knots. The poor bastard too. Braden Moore and Kai McConnell have come together there too. So argy-bargy through the first half of this lap, and they're not letting go of each other. Look at McConnell give Morey a bit of a slap, and the wall too, for good measure there, as they all stream their arse ends down to McConnell. On straight we go, and it is a massive lead at the moment to Fabian Fitness out in front, but Benny Hines is really on the arse end now of Jake Buttigieg, fighting for that position under a 10th of difference at the moment as they come into the chase. Who navigates it cleanly? Both of them do. No, Dion Clerk did not. He's gone way off there in the background, so he's not going to be too happy with that one. Wallace has got past him as well there, just for good measure. Oh, by jingoes, the absolute scenes here on the first opening lap, but it's Fabian Fitness right now with a 1 second advantage there over Jake Buttigieg, and it's single file once more here around Mount Panorama. There's going to be battles up and down the grid here. Christopher Munro, look at this three-way tussle.
Oh, there sure is. That's Lee Crowther getting right involved and just dipping a couple of wheels off the circuit as well. He's got Ezra Simons on his inside. That's Banachek just on the comeback trail as well. We're right on board with Kai McConnell. He just darts it in to the apex. I hope there was no other car just on the inside there. Absolute disregard for anyone there, but Banachek on the improve. You can see there just out the front window here of Lee Crowther. He's down in 11th position, but had a pretty, well, it's probably a bit of a rough and tumble start, to be honest, as he misses the apex there a little bit too, a little bit deep through turn 2 there at Griffins. But up in front there, that's Banachek and Simons getting stuck right in. Banachek getting very stuck right in to the outside wall at the cutting. That's not the ideal line, ladies and gentlemen, but he's managed to make it work. But he's just inviting Lee Crowther up behind him as well. As we're right on board with Banachek, you can see Simons just a little bit tardy through that section. Banachek had to check up before he centre punched the back of that Make America Great style vehicle in front, made in Germany with the American paint on the outside and Aussie driver on the inside. You get a bit of everything here at the Wednesday Cup, and there goes Simons just punting it straight through the downhill chicane there through the S's. Manages to get back on the circuit. No advantage, maybe. I don't know. The stewards were out there probably watching. They'd say, oh, maybe just get off the throttle for just a moment. But these three guys are absolutely nose to tail as they head down the mountain one more time. Matt Munro makes up a position on Dion Clerk as well, as we can see. They are side by side down Conrod Straight. Dion just in the slipstream here. Darts out, does a little dummy, and he will just send it up the inside. Oh, that's very dangerous stuff indeed. Both drivers not willing to yield at all, and maybe a little bit of awareness needed there, because wowee, the next time they come together could be a few more tears coming out the front of their helmets.
Yeah, definitely. That was very tight indeed. Ezra Simons, as we speak, has just gone backwards on the radar knots. He's lost 2 positions there to Banachek and Crowther. Was there something nefarious there? We don't know, but just as we hear these V8 absolutely scream up the hill, these Judd V8s just absolutely sing to the high heavens. One of the best sounds ever produced on planet Earth. I'll give you the hot tip. Lee Crowther, though, injects himself into the series and fighting for a top 10 position. In fact, he's inside the top 10 now, in 10th place, and he's got a very in-form man in front of him as we climb up Mountain Straight now, and that is Bananarama in front of him of Rico Banachek. Really, really close to these guys, having a good old tussle. The front has spread out just that little bit at this stage. You can see average about 1.2, 1.3 seconds between them all, but that is going to be neutralised because we have got another race coming your way. Reverse top 10 for these boyos right now where they are. Lee Crowther at this stage probably going for the strategical one, just thinking, I might just stick it here and I can be on pole for the next one and maybe lead for the rest of the 16 minutes coming our way. Oh, but it's not looking too good at the moment here for Greater X because Hayden Cook has just got underneath him and started to put those burners on right now. He's just putting them on to about 180 degrees. Needs to get them up to about 200, said Gordon. But at the moment, just climbing his way through the field. Up the mountain we go again. Brody Barber and Sam Bensley really, really even on pace, these two in qualifying. So it's going to be interesting who's got the better of the two in the race department. That Marlboro liveried BMW looking sensational, if you don't mind me saying that one. And it is a cracker of a livery. Sony there as well. Gee, that's taken me back to the old VCR recordings day. Right back when I was a little wee young chap, and 40 years earlier, Christopher Munro didn't even know that Sony was around when he was my age. But anyway, looking at Ezra Siemens now, only 9/10 of a second. Can he get the suck down the back straight? Way too far away for Lee Crowther, and it's just started to spread out a little bit, Christopher Munro, with 8 minutes 40 left in this one, and we all know what that means.
What is
Come on, man. Jesus Christ. We've got to know what it means. It means a lull in proceedings. It means something's going to happen. Something is going to happen here, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll tell you what. I was stuck thinking. Yeah, I was stuck thinking about my anti-skip Sony Discman that I used to have. It was one of my prized possessions back in the day. And I was dead set. I was thinking about what happened to that thing. It was probably in a museum somewhere at the moment because those things are a dead technology. But a cracking thing you can carry around in your school bag with your little Sony Walkman there, and a bunch of cables and a little charging pack and a box full of CDs as well. Never mind the textbooks. We don't need those, do we, lads? We are sim racers, not scholars. So Discman's all the way. But we're riding on board for another time here with Dion Clerk. You see him getting a little bit squirrely through that section. He's got Matt Munro out his front windscreen at the moment. The gap is about 8/10, and Cook and Barber just trading positions down the back there, but that seems to have fizzled out as well. Across the top of the mountain, it is a bit of a lull, Zachary, and it's something we're not used to here in the commentary box of Sensational TV, because all the series that we seem to commentate on are just action-packed right up and down the field. So maybe just these guys lulling us into a false sense of security right now.
Yeah, no Wilson parking here at the moment. This is full-on Timu style locksmith action at the moment, just really giving us the old fake bronze sort of brassy action at this stage. But nonetheless, it's starting to brew here because Banachek has started to find his rhythm, and his old mate, his teammate, in fact, in the V8 Supercars windscreen, Ian O'Brien, two Fast House racing boyos having a good old crack at each other, and Rico's right up the arse end now. He's got a really, really good run here. You can see the suck range at the moment, a little bit of toing and froing on the rubber banding, but he's got the choppies now at this stage. He's going to get the suck. Is he going to be brave enough? Down the Conrad Straight we go into the chase section. We can see here, no, he's just backed it out and just said, Ian, keep going, mate, because I've got Lee Crowther behind me at this stage. As Fabian finished just under 2:07.978 to be leading this race by a country mile. That is 2.5 seconds quicker than anyone else. But speaking of which, quickest up the inside is Banachek. There he goes. Thank you very much, mother for the rabbits, he says on the windscreen, and he will sail off into the distance now. 8th place for him. And realistically, on the charge again, he's got a fair bit of a distance, about 3 seconds, I would presume, 4.3 in fact, between himself and Sarge Illich to get himself further promoted up the grid. But he'll be happy where he sits at the moment with the reverse top 10 coming our way. That's going to put him off the second row here for Banachek, incoming for the 16-minute our way. Has Matt Munro got any answers here at this stage for Hayden Wallace? He does, because that gap was 1.3 seconds, and now it's only down to 0.8 of a second. So Matt Munro on the charge, on the prowl here, Christopher. Your brother has been talking to you during the week, I've heard, and a bit of some wise tips from the old Supercoach coming his way.
Oh, there's always tips available from the Supercoach, but whether they get through the thick
cranium.
skull. Yeah, exactly. We're never too sure. But I'll tell you what, He's doing a good job out there tonight. That gap is about at a second at the moment, but it's going to be a lot less now because that's a massive mistake from Wallace heading down the mountain. And Matt Munro will be all over that like a bloody Hong Kong. There he goes, takes the overtake down through the dipper. Thank you very much. He says up into 4th position. He'll have that. And now Dion Clerk is on the back of Wallace here, trying to take advantage of some of that spilt milk that's just came into his lap, and he's lapping it up like a Labrador at the moment.
Yeah, definitely like a cat that's starving on the street at this stage. With anything coming his way, he's going to eat it, and that is Dion Clerk. He can smell the roses at this stage, looking very, very nice. Here's Dion just keeping it measured, keeping it calm, and beautifully done here. And Hayden Wallace's car will have more hits than Freddie Mercury in the rear end at this stage, I reckon, because that was 2 hard slaps into 2 walls in 3 corners. So bit of aero lag coming his way, and I reckon Dion's now smelling all of that damage in his front vision windscreen, and he's right on the back here of William Wallace now as we go through. Braveheart is winning the battle at the moment, but losing the war, so to speak, because Dion is right there with him, and you can see the car behaviour between the two of them. That is a shocking camera angle. Why the hell has that happened? Anyway, we'll get back to there. We're back on the racing action now. Poor old Bathurst just giving us the old fruit, and I don't have a drone cam. But nonetheless, it's on here because Dion is now close enough. Once again, up the mountain straight we go. And he's going to have a half a chance here to maybe send it up the inside, coming up into turn 2. Is he close enough? No, he's not. He's about a car and a half length away from any sort of sendage, but William Wallace now just has to keep it on the apex, hug that inside ripple strip there, Peter Brock style, and get the job done, and he has done so now. So a very, very mature driving head underneath that helmet of William Wallace at this stage, because with those 2 little incidents there, I reckon I'll be rattled for probably a lap and a half, and it's only taken him half a lap to get back up there. But Dion not giving in anything at this stage, really, really driving the tits off this car. You can see Greater X and Joshy Sadler trading places back down the grid. This is one of the closest battles on the track, but Ezra Simon is now on the back of Lee Crowther too. Keep an eye on that one, but this is where the action's happening as we come across the top of the mountain, and the descent continues here. Christopher Munro, who's bravest into Skyline.
Well, let's see. It's going to have to be a forced overtake here from Dion Clerk, because Wallace is doing his best job, just staying on the racing line and keeping up a reasonable amount of pace as well. So it's not just being handed to Dion Clerk, which is probably what he'd want here at the moment, but certainly not going to get that his own way, because there's actually a little bit of smoke coming out the back of Hayden Wallace's car as he goes down into Forest Elbow, but gets a pretty good exit as well, as you can see on your screens, ladies and gentlemen. Dion Clerk just sitting outside probably the optimal suck range down here at Bathurst, so he's not going to be able to have a lunge at him into the chase, but it might not stop him either. Here he goes. He just absolutely sends it down into the inside. That is very confident, very irresponsible in the end, and both of those guys just lucky to be facing the right direction. But they'll get back on the track, and Dion Clerk redresses it. I'd be giving up another 10 metres there as a little sorry, thank you, mate, and a little wave out the window. But as you can see, Dion Clerk is in the mood to have a little crack. I think that was one of the sends of the century. That was never going to happen.
No, never going to happen at that stage of the racetrack as well. De-accelerating from 285 kilometres an hour and braking 50 metres later than you normally do is never going to work, but this one will work, because that is a perfect optimal exit here. Up Mountain Straight we go. Into Hull Corner we've come, and now we're halfway up Mountain Straight. This is a beautiful stuff from the man himself, Dion Clerk, sending it harder than Australia Express Post. Up the inside again he goes, done. Got the job done on Wallace, who was on for a 4th place. He's now having to settle for 6. Has he got any answers there for Dion? I don't know. The pace just looked too more proficient there from Dion over this man behind him at this stage, but we'll find out in 1 minute and 7 seconds left in this one. It's all over, nearly bar the shouting. Where's Fabian Fitness? He's just led this one by a country mile. 4 seconds up the road, Christopher Munro. He's got 58 seconds to get down the mountain here before one more procession to the lap with 4 seconds to go. It's anyone's bet. Will he just give it up before the end of the line? I don't think so, because we are talking to one of the angriest Kiwis I've ever met in my whole life, on the racetrack, that is. Nice as a dandelion off the field, but geez, when it comes to racing, this man knows how to go quick and how to do it properly, and that's Exhibit A right here with 35 seconds left in this one, and he's leading it by 4.5 seconds here. Beautiful stuff here from Fabian to start the round off.
Yeah, I think he might. I don't think he will get around in time, actually. We've got, 22 seconds to go. Will he cross the line? It's going to be very close indeed. If he does not, if that timer gets down to 0 before he passes the line, this is the final lap, ladies and gentlemen. If not, we go around one more time. But I think 10 minutes, 10 seconds to go. I think this will be the final lap. Fabian Fitness has led from the front, put it on pole, and has done his best to consolidate. 3, 2, 1. Is he going to get across the line? He does not. So this is the final lap of the race, and Fabian Fitness takes the checkered flag. That is 6 laps the better there in race 1. Cracking race from him. Jake Buttigieg crosses the line in second position. Ben Hines keeping that consistency alive here after a small hiatus. Matt Munro crossing the line in 4th as well. It's one of his better races in quite some time, and he celebrates in style. Dion Clerk crosses the line in 5th position with Hayden Wallace and Sarge Illich. Rick Banachek on the comeback trail to 8th position. Ian O'Brien in 9th, and Ezra Simons rounds out your top 10.
As he crosses the line right about now, he does, and gets that job done. 10th place and off pole for the next one for that man on screen, the American-German BMW liveried car. Really, really good job from him. Keep an eye out on Banachek. That gap was about 4 seconds or so, and it got down to 1.9 at one stage, well, at the end of the race. So he's on a charge as well. Lee Crowther comes through in the Fabian Fitness livery in 11th place. Braden Moore gets a 12th shot at, which is a really nice position for him. He's going to be mid-pack. Paul Buttigieg in the senior did not get the chockies over the younger one in 2nd place, but a good race from him. Hayden Cook in 14th. 15th for Ryan Sullivan. 16th for Greater X as well in Lucas. Joshy Sadler in 17th. Sam Bensley crosses the line in 18th and just trying to get some extra laps in before the server goes down. And Brody Barber, the haircut, just crosses the line now, with our only casualty of that race being Kai McConnell. DNFing that one really, really early there for that. And that was a cracker of a little battle there from everyone in sundry. Really, really well done. Fabian Fitness does take the chockies, however, by 4.5 seconds over Jake Buttigieg. Flip all of those positions on screen on its head. Ezra Simons and Ian O'Brien are going to take the front row here for the 16-minute race coming our way very, very shortly here, Christopher Munro. It's going to be exciting, and I'm going to predict once again wrongly, because Buttigieg did not do me any favours. 4.5 seconds, champ. Get better, for Christ's sake. But I reckon it's going to be a Matt Munro, Dion Clerk battle here for these jockeys if they get through turn 1 quickly. That's my prediction for the next race. But it's going to be really, really interesting, Christopher, for race 2.
Yeah, it's a complex beast, this Bathurst track, and it really brings out the natural talents of some of these drivers. So I guess you can't really predict anything. It's like predicting a coin flip to land on its edge. It's just hard to do sometimes. So we're going to get strapped in, and we're going to try and find out these answers definitively. Jeez, it's tough speaking English here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, but we're going to find out those answers in just a moment when we come back for race 2. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment. It's tough.
It is, man. As the tensions rise, the anticipation starts to descend on these gentlemen off the front and second rows. They are your guys off the front row, ladies and gentlemen. You can see it there. Ezra Simons is taking that chockies at this stage. Ian O'Brien and Rick Banachek, Sargilic's first and second row with those two boys having a good old crack. This is going to be exciting for these guys. Very, very feisty races here. Sargilic, Hayden Wallace down, Clerk Matt Munro. Benny Hines, Jake Buttigieg with Fabian Fitness, your race winner in 10th place there, Christopher Munro. This is going to be a belter here for the rest of the session. Can you read what I'm seeing in front of me, or do I keep going?
No, I can see it. This time we've got Lee Crowther just starting in 11th position. So this is his first time out in Wednesday Cup, getting his first taste of a reverse grid here at AK Racing, and possibly the chaos that might ensue. But I'll tell you what, they're usually pretty good in race 2. It's race 3 when they lose their friggin' minds. Hopefully not tonight. But behind him is Braden Moore, the Moore man. He's searching for more with Paul Buttigieg behind him. And then we have Hayden Cook with Ryan, who's that, Sullivan behind him with Lucas Grader X, Joshy Sadler, Sam Bensley and Brody Barber rounding out your top 20. I'm not sure if there's anyone beyond them, but 20 races out there at the moment. Kai McConnell's chosen not to come back for race 2. He's got a couple of moments to get back into the server, but so hopefully he does.
Hopefully he does. He's only got 38 seconds, so he better be quick. Quicker than you know what on their first time. But I'll tell you what, at this stage it's looking really, really racy. These guys have got prime position. Ezra Simon's not really used to being off the front row in any form of racing, and that is banter, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not tuned in already, Ezra and I are very much banter kings. But nonetheless, we've only got 16 seconds before. Get your predictions in the chat. Is Fabian Fitness going to take the race 2 again from 10th place on the grid, or are we going to see a little bit of a mix-up here for the rest of them as the lights come up, ladies and gentlemen, onto the racing line we go, and we are about to get ready to rock and roll here. And what is Ezra Simons going to do off the front row? He's going to accelerate and get a pretty good start there. I think that was Ian O'Brien who got an absolute mare of a start, so he's going to be under all sorts of pressure here. But now around the outside he tries to go nothing. Yeah, Banachek's involved in this one too, so he's going to promote himself up into second from 4th on the grid. Happy days for him. The sun sets over Mount Panorama, a bit of overcast cloud action, and it is all happening here. You can see at the moment a little bit of tussling going on here. Benny Hines is right up there with the rest of them. You can see here on the onboard, if we can get to that, holy crikeys, you can see the battling in front because Dion Clerk, Fabian Fitness and Hayden Wallace are also having a good tip. Oh, around the outside there goes Matt Munro. That was hairy stuff indeed. Did he get it pulled up at the right moment? He did, but he's not going to be too far alongside or even there, even a bounce, I reckon, on Benny Hines too. So advantageous side. Oh, disaster in the front. That is Wallace. He has gone backwards in a rate of knots. Let's get to him. He's getting muscled out of the way. Oh, and he's been turned around too. Oh, disaster there from Big Braveheart. He has absolutely lost the wall right there on screen, live in 4K, if you don't mind. The chef's getting margin around there too. That is Greater X and Crowther also nearly coming together as well. Then we've got Ian O'Brien too, right in front here of Lee Crowther as well for a bit of a tussle here. As the sun descends, these guys start to think they're werewolves and the full moon's coming out and pulling all magical tricks everywhere. This is incredible stuff here, but it's still on at the front because Banachek has not let go here of Ezra Simons. He can taste the victory here, can Panorama. He has got one already and he's going to be on the prowl here. Oh no, what has happened to Ian O'Brien? Dead set mare for the windscreen. No cracks on it, but geez Louise, he'll be absolutely poor. And there's another one just to get involved. That is Ryan Sullivan. Just saying, oh, you know what, I'll join you there, son. Don't worry about it. Maury's gone absolutely nowhere too. I think he caused that one. He's holding up and waiting, but look at this at the front now. The lead is on, ladies and gentlemen, for the front row of the grid battle. We have seen it come into fruition here. If Simon's got any answer for Bananarama, he has. He breaks deeply into the chase we go. Bananarama just sticks it fat, goes around the outside, but Ezra's off there. He's just lost a little bit of momentum too. So this is going to be interesting. Gone on the defensive as Ezra, and he's going to be trying to stick it fat into the final corner we go. What can these guys do? Oh, Simon's on the slide there and losing very, very much momentum, but that is going to be a lap 1 lane change for position. Bananarama up the inside, got the job done, and P1 now in Fast House Racing's hands. Sargilich is thereabouts too, and it's all happening up and down the field, but look at this man leading his race here at Wednesday Cup. Beautiful stuff, Christopher Munro. That has been a lap 1 to remember so far.
Yeah, all happening here at in the Wednesday Cup. And I'll tell you what, I really like the way Banachek took that opportunity there into turn 1 and kind of parked it up on the apex. Did not give Simons a chance to swing through for a bit of an up and under. So that's beautiful awareness there from the Banana Man. And now he's already just stretched that lead out to about five tenths as we speak, so that you can see the flames sticking out the back of that thing as a bit of an FU to the American man down there in second position. That's beautiful racing. But down here for the battle for 14th, Paul Buttigieg goes up on the inside of Hayden Wallace, who we saw just absolutely get spat around in this position. Last time around, he was facing the wrong way, and now he's got Josh Sadler right up his clacker as well. Only a couple of tenths the difference across the top of the mountain. There's really not many places you can force an overtake, but I've seen it done. I've seen it happen, and hopefully we can see a bit of that here tonight. Fabian Fitness, however, has made his way up from 10th on the grid. Now he's 4th, and he can see 3rd out the front. That is Sarge Illich in the Mobil 1 Racing colours there, BMW. That is a little bit squirrely on the exit as well. This might just be the opportunity that Fabian Fitness needs to promote himself up into the podium positions. Now he's well within the suck range. You can see the slipstream. Thank you very much. Which side does he go? Onto the inside. Oh, almost up onto the grass. Now they're side by side. Fabian now has the advantage of the overlap through the kink and just covers him across. But I tell you what, Illich could send it up if he wanted to. He doesn't. He just slots him behind, and that's Matt Munro off the circuit there as well, dropping down through the order. Dion Clerk will go up in front of him, so will Hines. Buttigieg is a bit further back, so Matt Munro just a disaster for him. He was up so far in the start of this race and just missed his braking market down there into the chase, but the battle is on now. Benny Hines, that's up on the inside. That's Sarge Illich as well. We saw him lose the position just before. He's going to lose another one down into turn 1. Beautiful move there from Benny Hines. Opportunistic and has consolidated as well up the mountain and gets a little bit of a suck from Dion Clerk as well.
Yeah, definitely. And that was a cracking move from him too. Really, really deep under brakes. But I'll tell you what, Lee Crowther is really having his work cut out for him. The haircut has got right up his chockies and gone into the top 10 as a haircut in Brody Barber. Really, really great racing from him too. Sarge Illich has fallen down the list at a rate of knots here. Everyone getting past him, but that man behind in that with a fluoro blue car, Matt Munro, came a cropper at the chase, but he'll come back and climb into this one. Don't you worry about that. But Ezra Simons versus Banachek, that has petered out already. 1.1 seconds at the front of this race, and that is done at 1 and run at the moment for Banana Army if you can keep it clean. But this is your closest battle three-way at the moment on the circuit at this stage. It's looking very, very dicey. In fact, Paul Buttigieg and Wallace have come together again, and I think that was Wallace just getting sent into the wall and Buttigieg sailing off into the distance. The stewards will have a look at that one after the race, but these guys not letting go of each other in front at this stage. I can see here Fabian Fitness is right on the arse end now of Ezra Simons. The two Kiwis having a good old sheep shag flog off at the moment. Who's going to get the chockies over him at this stage? It looks like Fabian's trying to get that run. So you can see Simons just understeering and slapping the wall there too. Very, very hard. And this is a dead set bazaar at the moment for Fabian Fitness because he's got to go left, he's got to go right, and he can't get past Ezra. He's not giving up that position easily, is Ezra, I'll tell you that much. He is a fierce competitor when he knows he's on song, and Fabian's going to have to do it the long and hard way here at Mount Panorama. No love lost here between the two Kiwis. They know they're on board here, but Fabian really, really deep under brakes. He's just showing the nose to put more pressure on Ezra as they come into the chase. The first section, the second section done now too. Really, really hefty stuff here under brakes. If you don't get that section right, you're in a world of pain, I'll tell you that much. And that is what Fabian Fitness knows. He's going to sit back here and just come to fruition with any mistake that happens, and that's what Simons has done. And here is Fabian Fitness now up the inside as easy as you like, and that camera angle once again giving me absolutely nothing. But here is P2 on the boards for Fabian Fitness, easy as you like, up the inside. Clinical masterclass overtake there. Into second he goes.
Yeah, we've seen that. That seems to be the spot for overtaking here tonight. They get right up behind them through the chase, through Murray's, and then they consolidate through turn 1. But here we go again. We might see one up into turn 2 here. Benny Hines did get past Dion Clerk on the previous lap, and now Clerk's going to try and hang it fat around the outside and return serve. He does too. That's a beautiful ballsy move there indeed. And there's the cavalry starting to join in as well with Illich, Munro and Buttigieg just behind there in your shot. So the longer that Clerk and Hines get stuck into each other, these three blokes behind are going to be starting to lick their lips because anything could happen here. Who's at the back? That's Jake Buttigieg. He could find himself positively up to 4th position here with a few smart moves. But as you can see out the front window of his car, that is the train we're looking at. Dion Clerk heads them off with Benny Hines, Sarge Illich in behind them. Matt Munro. Illich goes wide there off the circuit. Matt Munro will take the overtake. So will Buttigieg. Illich drops back a couple of positions there. Very, very nice awareness there from Illich as well, not to just hook it back onto the circuit. It was a nicely controlled situation there, and a rejoin that some of the younger drivers can take note of.
Yeah, they definitely can, because that would have been disaster. You've seen the Super Ute drivers in real life couldn't even save that sort of stuff, and these guys are giving him all of the chockies at the moment, saying this is how you go racing, and that's what we want to see here tonight. And you can tell at the moment with 0.4 of a second now between Benny Hines and Dion, that battle is not over. Neither is the Buttigieg versus Munro battle too, but it's on here for the lead because Fabian Fitness is going to steal this lead off Bananarama. You can feel it slipping away here. Can Banana Skin, can he keep that defensive line? He does. He goes on the defensive. Doesn't need to because Fabian's way behind. It's going to hurt him here on exit. Coming onto the final straight here, the first front straight of Mount Panorama, but he just keeps it nice and steady there, does Bananarama. We can see here on board from Fabian the two different lines that they take. So an earlier apex for Bananarama, but that hurts him on exit because Fabian goes a little bit later, drifts the car out a little bit wider there too, and now he's well and truly within that suck range. Here we go. This could be on like Donkey Kong 4 turn 2 coming our way. What is Banana going to do? Is he going to put it up the inside? Is he going to stick it where the sun doesn't shine on Fabian? Fabian's gone on the inside. He's darted it in there. He's not going to be late enough under brakes because Banana's just stuck it fat. Put it into the apex there as well. Now he's got to go defensive and send him and cover him off. He does. Beautiful racing there from Bananarama. His racecraft between these quick guys is second to none. He knows where to put the car and defend it, but he's going to be able to hold off for much longer. I don't know. This is the prime place for maybe the last overtake before we get into Forest Elbow once more. Bananarama's going to stick it up the inside and keep this lead for now. Fabian is on the charge though. You can see him. He's just on and off the throttle there on your data inputs there at the bottom of your screen. A little bit of braking there and throttle action just to get it turned in that dirty air. Vanacek is flying at the moment, really putting in his personal best here, but it's 7/10 off Fabian's quickest lap, so a bit of a cork in the bottle situation at the moment. It's happening for the lead. It's happening for 4th, 5th and 6th as well, and 7th if you don't mind as well, but we got to keep an eye on this one because Fabian, he's just everywhere. He's upside down. He's sideways. You don't know where he's going to go. Oh, sent up the inside.
Oh,
what a move there from Fabian Fitness on Bananarama. Absolutely nothing anyone could have done that. If you are an A+ racer versus an A+ racer, that is send of the century, if you don't mind, and that is P1. But look at Dion now. He's on the back of Ezra. Ezra is losing. Going to lose probably 2 positions here if he's not careful, because at this stage you can see Benny Hines now trying to get the double suck here as well. He's going to go up the inside. No, switch it to the outside now. It's a 4-way tussle at nearly 300k an hour here into Forest Elbow. We go, Forest Elbow, into the chase we go, and look at this one. Simon's on the side. Oh, and the outside. He tried to go. Did Benny Hines, Dion Clerk. Nothing happening there. Ezra just holding it fat, keeping it there at this stage, and these guys are going hammer and tong. Matt Munro versus Buttigieg is coming to light here at the background too. Is Buttigieg going to sit up the inside? No, he doesn't. He thinks about it again, but now it's going to be on for these three. Now we've nearly got an 8-way car suck train here at the moment. Tell you what, ladies of Griffith and Mount Panorama, start tuning in now. This is how you go sucking here at Mount Panorama, that's for sure. And it is on like Donkey Kong here. We've got 5 cars within 0.4 of a second on average here, and it's all over P4 at the P3 at the moment. Wowee.
Oh, I tell you what, the suck train here is probably a little bit more expensive than what you'd get at Bathurst at the best of times. But look at that at the front there. That's Hines and Clerk just swerving all over the track with Simons in front of those guys. He's certainly the cork in the bottle, but it's a quick cork in the bottle in that matter. So he's pretty hard to get past. So you can see out the front of Ben Hines' car here at the moment, that is Dion Clerk and Ezra Simons in the make Germany great bloody livery there in the American colours. But wow, we look at beautiful camera angles and the scenery there at Mount Panorama as these three guys get right stuck in across the mountain. Dion Clerk maybe just searching for a little bit of a way through there on Simons. They're going to go 2 by 2 down through the... you can't make that overtake, Stick Stun. You're going to have to drop back in. But Ben Hines is ready to take advantage of that little bit of tomfoolery there from Dion Clerk. I'll tell you what, that was cheeky indeed. You just got to sit up under that rear wing and wait for something like that. Little mistake from Simons. But looking back to Jake Buttigieg, he can see all the action going on in front. That looks like Simons and Dion Clerk. He's got the communication out the left-hand side of the window. Thank you very much for coming, he says. Here goes Hines. He's well in the suck train. We've got to get a different view because they're going 3 wide here at the moment. And there goes Dion through on the middle. And Simons trying to hang it fat around the outside, but Munro's going to chime in, and they've both gone off. All 3 of them are off. They're all in the fence. Oh, my goodness. Here goes Hines and Buttigieg both getting the absolute dream run through there, and Hines goes up to your podium position. Buttigieg will follow him through, and the 3 bastards behind are just going to have to suck eggs for a little while longer.
That was sensational racing there from everyone. They all went over the top there, and Christopher Munro went to the top of his octave rev range, I'll tell you that much. That was beautiful commentary if I've ever seen it myself. Just sitting there laughing my tits off. That was fantastic racing. It was all going to come to fruition at some stage, and it did, but it didn't go as bad as we thought. Now Matt Munro can reconsolidate this position and try to get on the back end of Dion Clerk again. He's 7/10 away, but don't worry. If these guys all battle for the next 2 minutes and 18 seconds, which means we're going to get another lap here, ladies and gentlemen, of this battle pack coming to fruition. It's all on here. Matt Munro's got to get right back up there. So does Dion too, because he knows he can pass that guy in front of him in Ezra, who held off for an absolute country mile there for a good 12, 13 kilometres, and he's lost it again here now. It's going to take some balls to hang it around the outside at this stage. It doesn't, as Dion just keeps it right up in there at the moment. He has not been castrated as Clerk. He's still got his balls on at this stage. Really, really fighting, so to speak, at this point. He's got the chockies over there in front of him. But now it's Buttigieg versus Hines. This is the 2 different pace battles that we want to see, because Hiney was right up there, but Jake Buttigieg was the quickest man on the circuit in the practice and basically just blitzed them all. But in the racing department, it's a different story. Fitness is leading this one by 3.8 seconds over Banachek. Banachek has been gifted a second place by all of this battling behind him, because at 3.9 seconds with a lap and a half left in this one, he is going to secure a P2. But Benny Hines now has made an absolute mare out of Forest Elbow, and that is going to be the easiest overtake of the night there for Jake Buttigieg. He's had to work really, really hard here in race 2 to get that chockies done, and you can see Benny Hines just nearly tried to dart in, but suicided himself out of that one. Tank slapped him on the return serve, and Buttigieg in the reverse suck, and it's happening at the background here too, because it's Simons versus Munro versus Dion, and it's all kicking off here. Oh, Munro's off in the bunda. He's going to have to pull up the brakes. He's going to nearly send it in. They're all going off. Again, this is actually Groundhog Day once again. Even Hayden Cook's gone left for the background too, watching all that nonsense. And Clerk and Simmons have been gifted it again. I'll tell you what, Munro just sent it up the inside. Ezra's holding on for P5 like it's his last dollar in the bank account here. And I'll tell you what, 34 seconds left in this one. This mid-back paddle is absolutely singing to the high heavens. I cannot take my eyes off it, and I'm out of breath.
I'll tell you what, and fair enough. These guys are sending it harder than I'll be sending Fabian Fitness a trophy in the bloody mail if he keeps this up. That's 2 wins from 2 tonight. I don't think anyone's going to stop him here at the moment. 4 seconds back to Banachek, 5 seconds again back to Hines, and then this massive battle pack behind him. We got Buttigieg, Simons, Clerk, Illich, Matt Munro, who we're riding on board with at the moment, getting a little bit taily through Griffin's Bend. He's got Hayden Cook all over the back of him as well. That is really tight between those two guys. They're side by side actually as they're going up through. We're on the wrong camera there. There we go. Here's Cookie, and there goes Munro just slapping the wall as well. Cook's going to maybe try and make a little move here between the pair of them, but Munro just getting the traction down up the hill. So that comes to a close for now. Ooh. There's really nowhere you can make a pass. We've seen Clerk just try to force an overtake up here at the moment. Matt Munro going very slow up through that section. And Cook just giving him the hurry up too. Just giving the old Gordon Ramsay hurry. What does he say? It's fucking raw. And Munro just missing the apex there as well. But it's not going to hurt him too much because Cookie is right in tow. But looking up the order a little bit further, here's Simons making a little bit of an error out of Forest Elbow. And Dion Clerk's going to take that position. Thank you very much. He gets the job done before we even get to the kink. That is fantastic stuff. So Dion Clerk just sitting there pretty. But the problem is when you make that overtake down the top of the straight, you may be sort of susceptible to a reverse suck. But here is your man of the moment, ladies and gentlemen, Fabian Fitness. Look at that, with the sun setting in the background, crosses the line for his second victory of the night. Wowee, ladies and gents, he's come from 10th on the grid and takes the victory. Rick Vanacek with another podium as well this season. He's come leaps and bounds, I'll tell you what. One of my favourite drivers out there at the moment. Benny Hines with his usual consistency in the podium department, comes across the line in third position. Jake Buttigieg in fourth. We got Dion Clerk crossing the line in fifth, with Ezra Simons just behind him. Half a second back to Sarge Illich and Matt Munro. What could have been if he'd kept it on the circuit a couple of times more. Hayden Cook in ninth position, with Brody Barber as well crossing the line in 10th. He's Mr. Consistent as well. He's up there in the top 10 in the championship standings. But that's your top 10, ladies and gentlemen. What a race.
What a race indeed. Wallace has come through in 11th place. Very, very nice fight back from him. He was facing the wrong way, I'm pretty sure, at one stage. Unless I've got that wrong. And he's got himself back into 11th. Sam Bensley happy with 12th at this stage. Really, really good stuff. His best race time of a 2:12. He'll be happy with that. Paul Buttigieg in the senior, coming through in 13th. Lee Crowther in 14th. Greater X in 15th. The windscreen, Ian O'Brien also in the dead set Medzair at the start of this one. 16th place for him, 4th last. Joshy Sadler in 17th. Ryan Sullivan and Braden Moore absolutely coming last in that one. He'll be looking to get further up the grid. But officially, this is where it all sits, ladies and gentlemen. To get to the right timing tower, Fabian Fitness 2 out of 2. And as Meatloaf says himself, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, but can it be a dead set clean sweep here for Fabian Fitness in race 3 coming our way? We will find out shortly, because he's got to do it the long way. A reverse top 15 coming your way, and all of these guys on your screen, as you can see them, plus up to Lucas Greatorex, is going to start off the front row. He's flipped on your head. O'Brien, Sadler, Sullivan, Moore, and not McConnell, because he didn't start that one, are all going to be starting from where they are, but it's going to be a front row between a Caltex and a Pennzoil. The battle of the oils off the front row for race 3, Christopher Munro. That's going to be a rip snorter here to finish this one off for Wednesday Cup.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So, ladies and gentlemen, get the Canara fired up. I think Bill Kosmarikis was in the chat before saying it's pretty cold down there in Melbourne, so he's got that one fired up with a nice. He's just cracked open a 6-pack of what does he drink down there? The watermelon
Ouzo.
cruisers. Yep. So
Ouzo for Bill.
Straight Ouzo, straight from the bottle. What a legend. Take a leaf out of his book, ladies and gentlemen, and tune in for race 3. We'll be back in just a moment.
yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time of the evening where you want to get yourself sorted and just take that final sip of the Chardonnay or the brandy or the Ouzo if you're Bill Cosmaricus and get settled in, because 17 minutes of racing is coming at you. Hard, fast, cleaner than Hugh Hefner's you-know-what. Oh, it is after 8:30, so cleaner than Hugh Hefner and Warwick Capper's dick for tonight. It's going to be absolutely sensational for us here in the Sensational TV commentary box. You have been joined by myself and Christopher Munro for this event, as always, and it's a pleasure to have you all with us in the viewership land. If you haven't already, please give the video a like and a subscribe to the page as well. Tell your friends, tell your family, and then share all the videos around, because this is the best commentary you'll ever get. It's better than that Formula 1 nonsense that's out there. I'll tell you what, that's sort of 5 out of 10 stuff. We're at 14 out of 10, and it's going to be a belter here. Speaking of 14 out of 10, it is a 15 top reverse grid, and that is where Greater X and Lee Crowther find himself, Christopher Munro.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Crowther's been having a bit of success in the Super 2 land as well, so he's going to be quick, I think, once he gets a little bit of free air in front of him, and also a bit more experience in these cars. He's had 2 races, he's had half an hour's worth of driving just tonight under his belt. So what you see in these little mystery rounds sometimes in the Wednesday Cup is everyone sort of starts off on the same practice regime. They all start to just get quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker as the night goes on. So you will probably see that once the results come out, that the first race they had this X amount of fastest laps, then round 2 was even quicker, and then round 3, this is when they're all going to be doing their best that they're going to do in this round. So expect, you know what, I'm going for the dark horse here. I think one of these guys in the top 5 might just avoid maybe a little bit of early carnage and get out there into some clear air. And it's a tough ask to say hold on the whole way, but I'll tell you what, he may even just hold on until the fit man comes and chases him down with about 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, dead set. We'll find out what the fit man can do from 15th, but the lights are up. That's your top 10, ladies and gentlemen. The rest of them are there if you can pause it back on the stream to see where they are. But nonetheless, that does not matter, because Lucas Greatorex here is going to start this race from pole position, and he is going to take the chockies off the front row. What is his start going to look like? It looks like a great one. Paul Buttigieg's had an absolute dead set mare, but I'll tell you what, Lee Crowther's just gone bang and said, thank you, I'm taking that one, as we set into the sunset here at Mount Panorama. It's all happening in the background there. It's absolutely dead set on. Sam Bensley's been bumped wide there. Top 5 gone from him already. He's going to go backwards at a rate or not here, and off on the outside there too. Oh, that's incredible stuff from Dion Clerk, bouncing and bouncing and shoving, and he's in the wall. Oh, he's done a Mark Scaife early, and that is awesome stuff from Dion Clerk in terms of excitement for the racing, but not the best for him. But look at this at the front here as we come into turn 2. The guys are absolutely singing to the high heavens. Headlights ablaze here at Mount Panorama. It is a 4 or 5 way tussle here between 10th all the way down to 6th place at this stage. You can see Hezra Simons here also holding up the pack, and the inside there goes Fabian Fitness. Take no prisoners, take no shit style, and he's just done that. Thank you very much. In the 10th, he goes from 15th in 5 corners of Mount Panorama. It's happened at the front here. What's happened to Paul Buttigieg? He's coming proper, and that's Matt Munro around the outside, gone into the distance, but now he's got 2 wide, 3 wide. It's the Buttiguegs versus the rest of the world here. That is Jake Buttigieg right behind him too. You can see here on the wrong camera, for fuck's sake. Here we go. Get on to board here, and that's the senior versus the junior at this stage, grucking at stuff here over the skyline. We go into the Mount Panorama scenic view down the hill, 200 metres nearly of a descent as well, and it is senior versus junior, and the junior is the one behind here. But no, what has happened to Banana Rama? Dead set, unbelievable stuff from Banachek, facing at 90 degrees to the circuit. A race 2 P2 got her, and he's lost it as well. So is Lucas Greatorex here too. So he's gone sailing down the auto at a rate of knots. Hayden Wallace has lost a place there to the chef. The chef has well and truly got the old cucumber up the bumhole from Gordon Ramsay, and he's in 2nd place at this stage. Cracking driving from him. Buttigieg versus Seniors on like Donkey Kong here at the moment. And I'll tell you what, Fabian Fitness isn't too far behind. So Jake's going to have to make a move here, because here comes Fabian Fitness. Race 1 and 2 winner. Oh, forces the issue up the inside. Jake's wide. Oh, dead set lost it. And so is Fabian too. two. So there goes Paul Bunnigang, and there goes Sarge Illich. And I'll tell you what, Fabian Fitness nearly took 4 cars out there trying to rejoin. Ezra Simons has gone past him too. Oh, dead set unbelievable stuff here. And that is Jake Bunnigang versus Fabian Fitness once again. And now Simons is all over this one. Oh, it all happens here in race 3. I'll tell you what, it's happening up and down the grid. Christopher Munro, and it's still going on here. Look at this, 3 wide into turn 1 we go. Oh, dead set lost it there, and Paul Bunnigang, no, it's Jake Bunnigang in fact. Gone into the bunda he goes, and Simons has got P8. And tell you what, Paul has got the dead set break of a lifetime here, but Fabian Fitness versus Ezra Simons round 2 here is all on like Donkey Kong. This is cracking stuff. First lap and a half done and dusted.
Yeah, tell you what, Munro and Wallace getting stuck in as well, up a bit further ahead. And there goes Wallace around the outside of Matt Munro at turn 2. But Munro's going to stick their fat into the cutting here and try to just return serve on the man himself. But both of them get right out sideways as they get the exit of that. But that's Brodie Barber in front. That's Hayden Wallace in the middle of this little sandwich here. Matt Munro is at the back, so we're going to ride on board with him as it looks like all 3 of them just kissed the wall there on the outside of Reed Park. Probably not great for the aero, but they've only got to hold on for another 13 minutes and try and navigate through the madness that is usually race 3, as we saw in that opening lap, Zach O'Reilly. What absolute madness was going on there. We had cars going up and down, sideways, upside down, you name it. But I tell you what, these 3 are only separated by a number of tenths here at the moment. Matt Munro opting for a little wide line and maybe a late apex through Forest Elbow to get that slingshot effect down through the gears. But here's Paul Bunnigang. He's got Fabian Fitness just in front of him with Ezra Simons behind. And tell you what, Ezra Simons right in that suck battle here at the moment, or in the suck zone, should we say. He's half a tenth. He's got the overlap now. They're 2 by 2. They're going to go around the kink, I assume. I couldn't see it, but there they go. They both touch each other. Bam! Into the wall goes. All 3 of them are off. That's Illich as well involved. Braden Moore, I think, just sneaks through. Paul Bunnigang definitely involved. Illich and Simons. All 3 of them now just trying to get back on the circuit here. Oh, this is disaster. We're all involved here, but there goes Clerk getting through on the outside. Banachek making up some positions as well. Oh, you wouldn't read about it here, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to be very careful around this circuit when there's just tiny little overlaps on the straight bit of road.
How did we not get a roll over there from anyone? I'll never believe it. But nonetheless, they're all happening and they've got themselves sorted out in an absolute random form, just like a Uno card set at the moment, giving reverse cards, draw 4s, you name it. It's all happening here at the moment. Skip. Don't worry about it. That's exactly what Braden Moore did. He skipped a lot of them and got out into 8th place after all that nonsense there between the 4 or 5 cars. Oh, that was sensational stuff. But nonetheless, it's happening. Sarge is here trying to get back in position on Sam Bensley, who took advantage of all that nonsense in front of him. And he gets the job done, but has he overcooked it? He has not at the moment, so that's good. He's got that job done. Sam Bensley's going to have to go next to him as the sun is setting here at Mount Panorama. It's all happening. Oh, no, that was dead set. That was a disaster. Where did Sarge Illich go? He's DNF'd. He's gone. He's out of this one complete. No, that was Sam Bensley. No. What is happening? A bit of a netcode issue there. Anyway, let's keep going on board because Matt Munro is right on the prowl here. He is hounding the haircut at the moment. I'll tell you what, if anyone needs a haircut, it's Matt Munro. Go back to the short back and side, son. That haircut is shit house at the moment. But anyway, looking very, very racy at the moment. I know that's a joke anyway, Matt.
He gave it to himself, I'm pretty sure. He cut his own hair, so it's totally fair assessment there, Zach O'Reilly. Away you go.
Well, the haircut in front of him could probably give him some tips from the super coach himself. But nonetheless, it's all happening because in 3.5 tenths of a second, he's just outside that suck range. But it's all about where you get the power down out of Forest Elbow. And that sets you up for this run down Conrad Straight. And it looks like at the moment he's just got about a tenth of a second better run down here. And the suck is coming into play. Is Matt Munro going to send it up the inside? No, he's not. It's too far away for Matt Munro at this stage to get that job done. Over the haircut in front of him, the headlights and the brake lights are ablaze now. A beautiful scenic route here live in 4K, if you don't mind, on sensational TV. This is where it's at, and Matt Munro live in that at the moment, having a good crack. Oh no, what's happened at the back here? Ezra Simons and Sullivan, and then we've got Bunnigang and Braden Moore having an absolute dead set mare as well. You can hear the groans in the background, and I've pressed the F4 key there, and nonetheless, Braden Moore has still come out in 9th place. Jake Bunnigang got past him, but this little battle here is starting to heat up, Christopher. We've got a 3-way tussle here brewing because that is Matt Munro who's got through in 3rd place. Now William Wallace has trying to go a long way around here up Mountain Straight into turn 2. This is going to be spicy. What has the big Braveheart man got to answer here for the haircut?
Oh, a little bit of side drafting as well up the mountain, but Wallace just getting on the anchors later as well, just sending it around the outside. Very nicely done indeed. I'll tell you what, Barber ain't done yet. He gets the power down nicely, and these two are going to head 2 by 2 out through the cutting. Oh, he just smacks the outside wall there. Does Barber. That's a little haircut on the bodywork of his car, so he will drop down to 5th position at the moment. Hayden Wallace on fire tonight. I'll tell you what, he is driving out of his skin and deserves all the accolades that he can get here at the moment. But Lee Crowther has gone away to a 9/10 gap out in front at the moment. Matt Munro in 3rd position, Hayden Cook in front of him, chasing down Lee Crowther. But I'll tell you what, Crowther doing a great job here at the moment. He's out there in front, and 9 minutes to go. Hayden Cook is chasing him down at a rate of knots. Actually, I think Crowther might have made a mistake through that second sector, because that gap is down now to 8/10. That is the battle for the lead, ladies and gentlemen. Fitness and Barber now trading positions. Oh, there goes Barber, just getting way too zesty on the old right foot there, and just spins it around. And poor old Fabian Fitness copped a little bit in the side there, but he manages to stay facing the right direction, whereas Barber did not. So it's all gone from bad to worse for Barber, but Cook is now right on the back of Crowther here for the lead of this race.
Yeah, look at that. This is a good battle here. 0.3 of a second now, only splitting them between P1 and 2. Oh, that's disaster there. That is full overcooking it into the final corner there for Crowther. Now the chef can smell that medium rare absolutely coming to life. He's about to open up the oven here and serve it onto a plate here for P1. There, however, it's not going to be easy here, but Gordon Ramsay has said, piss off, mate, and serve that shit up, because I'm in P1, says the chef, and he's got that job done. And there goes Lee Crowther, 0.6 of a second already down the field. It's happening also at the background in the minor placings at this stage, but we'll keep an eye on this one, because the new leader of the race is the chef man. Full afterburners here at the moment. Got 4 burners cooking at this stage. 3 medium rare lamb T-bones coming his way, and then a beef Wagyu coming his way as well. And he is right on top of this one. 0.7 of a second in the lead. Can he keep it together? Because Lee Crowther will know what he did there at the final corner, just to make that little bit of an understeer moment worse off. And that is what lost him at the position. Wallace's DNF. Oh, disaster for the big man. He was right up there with them all in 5th place, and he's going to sail down the order now. The man who was right up there, Mr. Consistent for this round, has DNF'd out of this one. Disaster for the big man. But I'll tell you what, from dead set 15th at the moment, it is Fabian Fitness taking the driver of the day so far. 2 wins out of 3 races so far. Can he get the chockies in this one? He's got 7 minutes and a bit to get 5 seconds up the road to take over that position. But I'll tell you what, Matt Munro's going to be a little bit feisty about his podium place. He doesn't want to see that slip away. But at this stage, it looks like it could be a 3-way battle again, because the chef and Crowther are coming closer together. Once again, it was 0.8 of a second. Now it's down to 0.4, so it's split over the top of the mountain here by half between the top 3. Now we've got 0.8 of a second for Matt Munro. What is he looking at as we come down Conrod? That is the gap in front of him. It is ever so closer now. 0.3 of a second or 0.4 thereabouts. And these guys are racing hammer and tongue in front. Crowther versus Cook. This is going to be a rip snort of a finish here. Christopher Munro, 6.5 minutes to go.
Well, it certainly is. Keep an eye on the gap there to Fabian Fitness. It's down to about the 3.5 second mark as well. That has come in 0.5 since we last had a quick look, and that was not long ago, because the front 2 are now locked in a battle. And I'll tell you what, Matt Munro will be on the scene very shortly as well. That will be a 3-way battle. And you know what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when 3 cars, 2 cars, any cars start to battle. They slow themselves down as they all take alternative lines and try to test the boundaries of grip throughout this circuit. And I tell you what, Fabian does not need a second introduction to get back to the back of these guys. But since I've said that, he's dropped a second, so I think he might have made a big mistake as well. But Matt Munro right up on the back of Lee Crowther at the moment. But these 2 guys now battling for 3rd and, 7th and 8th position there. Dion Clerk just sweeping around the outside of Braden Moore and gets that position done. Matt Munro now back to the front, because this is battle for the minor placings. He goes up the inside there of Lee Crowther, caught him napping at the cutting, and goes straight up through. I don't know what happened there to Crowther, but he was travelling very slowly when we just crossed to him. And poor old Crowther just got hung out to dry there. Matt Munro with the flame spitting right out the back there as the dust descends here on Mount Panorama. What a beautiful shot there for the ladies and gentlemen at home to have a look at. Screenshot that, put it as your wallpaper or your background or whatever it is on your phone. Replace the picture of your kids as your background on your phone and put that in there. That's what you really want, ladies and gentlemen. But down here, Ezra Simon's battling it out for 11th position.
It's getting a little bit feisty here, but it's still spicing up at the front because you can see the Cookman versus Munro, 8/10 of a second now. These guys are at about the same distance, so keep an eye for that. Oh, no, that is Ezra losing it completely, and he's going to take a little bit of an advantageous track position there, I reckon. He's sort of half that gap. Oh, no, what's happened to the barber? Oh, the haircut's the wrong way around here at Mount Panorama. That is a very, very scary sight to see in real life or in the sim racing department. And poor old haircut has come a proper there outside the top 10. He goes there. Oh, geez, that was Joshy Sadler trying to get out of the way. He just sort of went left, right, upside down, you name it, and just managed to get it pulled up at the right stage. Here comes Sam Bensley too. Can smell a bit of an overtake here for him, and there's Ryan Sullivan as well involved in that one. The lap times are so close though. A 2:09.5 here for Matt Munro, a 2:09.8 there for the chef in front of him. So it's 0.3 of a second the advantage in Matt Munro's place with 3 minutes and 40 left in this one. This could be very, very spicy indeed. Lee Crowther's 2.8 seconds away from any of this battling, but Fabian can smell a podium, and I'll tell you what, as I said earlier, he's literally like Jaws at a smell of blood from 40 kilometres away. This guy can smell anything if it's inside the top three, and it's the two Pennzoil liveries having a good old crack at each other here. It's going to be on like Donkey Kong, and I think it's going to happen before we get to Forest Elbow here. This rate of knots here for Fabian Fitness. 2 wins and a 3rd place at this stage is what he's on for here, and this is a drive of the night here for me. Really, really well done, and a massive thank you to Fabian as well for the super chat too. But we've got to go back here to Bud again because he is right on the back end of Greater X trying to get himself in the top 5. He's got to get that job done so easily because Greater X has just absolutely ploughed himself, pun intended, into the fence there and give Jake Buttigieg one of the easiest overtakes of his night tonight. It's happened everywhere, but look at this one. It's on now between the blue and yellow sunset-esque liveries here, the Pennzoils, and Fabian Fitness is right on the prowl here. He can smell that podium, and Lee Crowther's got everything to fight for, but also, can he keep it together? Because if Fabian gets a dead-set perfect exit out of the Forest Elbow we come to in, he's going to get it because Lee Crowther just has lost it all completely there. The switchback was on, but he was just too close there was Fabs, so he just missed out on that one, and now it's going to be a little bit of an advantage here too. Crowther down the Conrod straight we go. So it's going to be interesting who's got the better precision, the better braking ability coming into the chase section. Is it going to be Fabian? But we accelerate to 290 odd kilometres an hour here. The speedo clocks out at 280, but these guys are going faster than that. Brakes now, done. Into it, shift down the gears, flash, slap it down into second we go. Fabian right on the charge here. So was Lee Crowther. Really good jump by the both of them there under brakes. And it's happening here, but it's also happening at the front because I'll tell you what, Matt Munro can also smell a victory too, Christopher. We've got 1 minute 48 left in this one. This is all happening. First, second, and third and fourth, all for Chockies.
Yeah, the battles are just starting to heat up now as we enter the last lap. The two Pennzoil liveries locked together like they're a couple of bits of Velcro here at the moment. But Fabian Fitness just getting the better of that exit. As you see, Crowther just venturing off the circuit with a couple of wheels spat out onto the dirt. A little bit of dust coming up. But Fabian Fitness now right up under the rear wing. Lee Crowther just sticking to that inside line. There's no way through there, Fabian. You're going to have to go around the long way, son. And we're just going to get around the outside here of Griffin's Bend. But really nice driving from Crowther as well, just to keep him at bay. But now they are side by side. Fabian Fitness has the inside line here for the cutting. And I'll tell you what, he's going to just wall ride it around the outside, whatever his name was in the bloody, whatever that thing is, the NASCAR. Oh, I still see that come up on my...
Chastain.
Chastain, that's it. Rob Chastain. I can't believe what I just saw. He goes ripping around the outside, but now he goes down to 4th position. And we can concentrate on this battle for the lead in the final lap of the race. Can Hayden Cook hold on for his maiden Wednesday Cup victory? Or can Matt Munro spoil the party and take his own victory or taste of victory here in the Wednesday Cup? He's been knocking on the door for quite some time. But there's this consistency. Oh, wow. Sending it down. This is crazy stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Zach O'Reilly, call us to the end.
Matt Munro's got a dead-set Mazare out of the final corner, so I think the chef here has got it all done and won here for himself because that was ambitious stuff there. from the fat man, or the skinny man as we like to call him. But I'll tell you what, that was Matt Munro's perfect opportunity to just get up in the slipstream here. But I think he's done it over, and that is going to be maybe the possibly first ever victory for the chef. He can pull it up into the chase. He does. He's got 2 corners to navigate now as he comes out of the final section. Here we go. This could be on for the chef, and I think it is, unless he can absolutely stuff it up into the last corner. This is going to be the victory for the night for the chef man. He really made himself work for it there in the final corner, but it's only 3.5 tenths, and it's done for the chef man over Matt Munro. Cracking racing from the both of them too. Fitness has just crossed the line with 2 tenths between himself and Lee Crowther. Crowther held on for 3rd place there after getting overtaken by Fabian. That is an absolutely sensational drive from this man on screen. Got one over the man of the evening. Holy mackerel indeed. Cracking driving from these two. We missed that because the battle was on for the lead here. Buttigieg gets a 5th place. He'll be stoked with that one. Dion Clerk, an Emerald, 6th place for him. Greater X, 1.1 seconds behind him. Batacek, oh geez, what's facing dead set in 19th place. Gets through to come into 8th place as well. Wow, what a drive from him too. Really, really nice stuff. Benny Hines, a disappointing night, giving the old 1 finger salute out the door as well for that one. Ian O'Brien, a top 10 for him. He'll be stoked with that one, Christopher Munro, and the rest are still getting through.
Yeah, they're getting through in quick fashion, though. Simons, Moore, Sadler, Barber, Buttigieg, Ryan Sullivan, and Bensley and Illich round out your top 18. Hayden Wallace was the DNF. Looks like Sullivan's having a bit of trouble just getting that green BMW across the line. Gets it there eventually as Sam Bensley follows him through. Sergeant Illich, about 42 seconds back, is having... has had better times in the sim, but going back to that final lap battle to Cook and Munro, I'll tell you what, it was a strange decision there from Munro to go for the dive into Forest Elbow when he could have just hung it wide and got that exit and used the suck to make that overtake happen down into the chase. But there's one to learn from young Munro. If he does watch this back, that's a perfect example of being patient behind the wheel.
Yeah, comments from the Supercoach brother in the Munro household there, and I could not agree more actually. But he'll learn from that. That's okay. You've got to take your chances where they're most likely to be at succession and come to fruition, and that would have been at the chase. But that's okay, because he got a 2nd place, and Hayden Cook, the man of the moment, just taking the win here in the Sim Blacks livery, the chef, as you can see on the number plate, reversing back down into pit lane as he has done all night, and really, really nice driving from him. Lee Crowther, though, geez, I'd like to have a replay of how he got past Fabian Fitness once more for that final battle. It looked all over by the shouting for him, but he got the job done over the other Pennzoil livery. The 2 number 7s having a good tussle between them. Jake Buttigieg, what could have been for him tonight? That was the biggest has-been story of the round, but hey, I'll give him some slack. He has been over-serving the Anzacs for it the last couple of weeks. Hops back in the sim rig and gets a couple of top 3s and a top 5. That's not too bad from him. Dion Clerk, really nice driving from him too. Greater X, that's probably his best position for a long time here in the Wednesday Cup as well, and he's celebrating like there's no tomorrow either, and giving us a 1 finger salute out the commentary box. Thank you very much, Lucas. We love you. Banachek, very, very nice performance from him too, as a little bit of a roundup of the Wednesday Cup round 5. And Benny Hines, Ian O'Brien also doing well, and you can see Ian O'Brien has managed to pop the tyres, and so has Joshy Sadler there in the back. Oh no, that's Ryan Sutherland.
Yeah, nicely done, boys. Getting down onto the rims, as you probably see pretty much every Friday, Saturday night down there at Bathurst anyway. But these guys have got a good excuse to get that job done. And congratulations again to all the podium getters tonight and all the winners. But Fabian Fitness is the man in command again, taking the round win as well. And now getting involved in a little auction battle there with Ron Marshall in the Super Chat department.
Yeah, definitely. It's a bit clear here. We've had a bit of clarification. Gave on back to Crowther. Said Fitness after I punted him last week. I said our own one, so now we're clear. And what a man that Fabian Fitness is. He knows how to go racing, how to be fair, and a true to his word man. And it's very, very nice. Ron Marshall has just gone bang with the $10. Fabian Fitness has incurred $10 tonight as well. Great fun. Thank you very much for him. Thanks to Alex McEwen for also jumping in the chat there. Bill Cosmarikas, V8 Super Geek. First time watching these cars for V8 Super Geek tonight, and I'll tell you what, he has not been disappointed. Cowie Motorsport also multi-pilot in Phil Coates. good to have you around too for this evening. Maddie as well in there as well. That is so awesome to see. Look at all these people in the chat. We've got everyone. Grey Ward, Bill Cosmeric in there. Buddy Bobster90 as well saying, sorry, Buck. That's a rang out joke if I've ever heard one. That is good stuff. But it has been a sensational round here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a pleasure to have you all with us as we're trying to find people on the grid. We've still got Ryan Sullivan just sending sparks into the distance there with the one finger salute out the rear end as well. Jeez, it's been a great round. And our last minute change, Christopher Munro to the track, has delivered, my dear friend.
Yeah, well, it was a necessary change as well. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gone racing tonight. So you can always rely on the good old Bathurst to bring in the goods at the final turn, because being an Australian or even a New Zealander at heart, you've probably done most of your sim racing laps around this circuit, so it's good to just chuck them in here last minute as a substitute and not get too much whinging in the chat saying, oh, we haven't practiced this track. Because I'll tell you what, Fabian Fitness was the only one he did 600 laps practice, mind you, for the circuit that we were supposed to do. And then he comes out and absolutely towels them all up. So that says something about the attitude behind the fit man. And he can overcome adversity, certainly. And that was on show tonight. So once again, thank you all for tuning in. It's been absolutely legendary sharing the commentary box with Zach O'Reilly. I'm on the co-commentator duties tonight, and I feel out of place. I feel like I've left I put my shoes on the wrong feet. But it's all fun in games as well. But it's good to see everyone getting supported, or everyone getting around the channel as well. So a big thank you to everyone. A big thank you to you, Zach O'Reilly, for hosting the event tonight.
Thank you very much, Christopher. Been good to have you. The man with two left feet says he can put the wrong shoes on the wrong feet. Doesn't happen in the Munro household. And I'll tell you what, with 6-inch heels, Christopher Munro is 6 feet tall as well. And it's great to have him here. Yes.
Here's one. Me in 6-inch heels. Here's a fact. I'm 6 inches taller, baby.
And 6 inches from the ground, I've been told. Don't you worry about that one. But nonetheless, I'll tell you what, Fabian has done the job. And that's, as you said earlier before, Christopher, that is a seat time advantage that you have. The more seat time you have in these cars, you'll get used to them everywhere. You know where they're going to grip and you know where they're not going to grip. Fixed setups here as well, ladies and gentlemen. So they're all on even playing fields. It's just who can steer it and throttle it better and brake it better. And that's what we're seeing here at the moment. But it has been great to have everyone with us tonight. Thank you for all of our super chatters in Ron Marshall and Fabian Fitness as well. And all of the newbies coming along for the first time. I hope you have enjoyed tonight's stream. And I'll tell you what, we've got more coming your way. Don't you worry about that, Super Geek. We have got V8 Supercars in 10 days' time, basically. But Wednesday Cup's going to be back next week on Wednesday again. We've got ASA LMU Series on Monday night. We've got Far Gone Racing on Tuesday night coming your way. So there's plenty on here at Sensational TV. Don't you worry about that. And we will keep it under wraps for now of what the future beholds. But we can't get anywhere without your support, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you so far for all of it. We really appreciate it, but it's time for us to say goodbye. As always, Christopher Munro has been the co-commentator tonight, but he always puts the M in magnificent. And I've been Zach O'Reilly, and guess what? You're not. But always here at Sensational TV. It's goodbye for now, and we'll see you next Monday night for another one here at Sensational TV. But in between now and then, you know what to do. As always, ladies and gentlemen, keep it safe and keep it flat out.